It's such a pleasure and honor to welcome to Living Histories Professor Sarah Harris from University of Sheffield. Please tell us about Living Many Histories.
Thank you very much, and thanks very, very much for having me. I hope it will be interesting. I don't normally talk about myself, so I'm going to try and talk a little bit about science and not so much about myself, but a little bit about myself as well. So, just where I come from. So, if I can maybe, is that going to give me a laser pointer? Yes. So I'm actually from a place called Somerset in the West Country, and it's famous for things like farm and cider and that sort of thing. And what it should be more famous for than it is it's actually the pictures that you're seeing here are Ada Lovelace's house, which is here where I'm from, very near where I'm from in Porlock. And this house actually no longer exists. It's sort of derelict, but it's very, very near where I grew up. So I do find that extremely inspiring. And of course, Ada Lovelace was Lord Byron's daughter. So she was very posh. I am not very posh. So one of the things about Somerset is that it's sort of a little bit, like I don't know, it's sort of lords and ladies, but of course then there are the people who aren't lords and ladies, and that's the part of society that I come from. So this is me on the Southwest Coast Path, and this is the ruin of Ada Lovelace's house, and this is the ruin of her bathhouse here, and this is what you can see when you look out. And then hopefully you can see on the right hand side, this is actually a school picture of me from school. And what's really lovely is because Minehead is such a small place, actually I know still quite a few of the people in this photo. And I don't know if people are watching these talks sequentially, but if you just listen to Alice Pine's talk, um, then Alice talked very much about the importance of sort of friendship and mentorship and people. And I have to say that has been one of the things in my life and career that has been extremely important to me is the friends that I've made and the people that I've met. And in science, that has been absolutely key. I have met some absolutely amazing people from all over the world. And that's one of the most special things because science brings you together. Regardless of your background or where you're from, you have this common interest that you really work hard with someone else on. And that brings you together in ways that it's difficult to see otherwise. So I think that's one of the really, really special things about science. So this is picture me at school, and then just to reiterate that I wasn't very posh. So my family were not traditionally an educated group of people. So I did my A levels, which is just before you go to your degree at the Somerset College of Arts and Technology, and you can see the sign for it here. So you can see that they didn't do Latin at the Somerset College of Arts and Technology because of the abbreviation is a little bit unfortunate. But I was still very proud I went there because I had a lot of fun and I made some good friends. And then after the Somerset College of Arts and Technology, I realised that what I was really interested in was biological physics. And this seemed a little bit weird because biology and physics sometimes seem like two opposite things. But the reason I love biological physics is because I'm really arrogant. So I think, biology is the hardest thing you could possibly think about, really. And the more you think about things, if you keep asking why and keep asking why and keep asking why and keep asking why, eventually you end up in physics. So this is why biological physics is the thing for me, because it's just the most complex and difficult question you could possibly ask. And this statue, which I absolutely love, which is in my favourite rave clothes shop in London, in Camden Market. It summarizes what it is scientifically we'd really like to understand. Because it is very much from the DNA to the phenotype to what to what the organism is like, and that's the challenge really. Is so physics tells us what we're allowed to do, and biology gives us an indication of what we can do given many, many millions of years of evolution. I knew I wanted to do biological physics, but physics was the thing that I was going to start with. And from the Somerset College of Arts and Technology, I went to a very prestigious UK university, which I did not get on with, I have to say. So I haven't named it here. But at this university, I learned a really, really key lesson. And that is that elitism is, well, I've got a picture down here of what I discovered elitism was. So I suppose if I'm going to offer some advice, I mean, don't take advice from me, right? But I'll offer some anyway, is you imagine, oh, I'm going to go to the most prestigious institution. If I don't go there, then I'm a failure, or all of these things. But actually, I would really recommend that you just went somewhere nice where people are going to be nice to you and where you're going to be happy. And that to me is more important than, getting the top grades or being the best, or, like, be good, be kind, be nice, be happy. And then you can also do brilliant things, and you're less likely to burn out or find the wrong way, or, so that is my sort of life advice for what it's worth. Don't, but as I said, don't take advice from me ever. So I did physics at this prestigious UK institution, and then I wanted to do some biology, and I actually ended up doing pharmacy. So I have a PhD in pharmacy, and I did, and this is these slides are to remind me. So my PhD in pharmacy was done in Nottingham, and Nottingham is where Boots the Chemist started. So this is a very old photo of Boots the Chemist, and it's also where Robin Hood is from. And Robin Hood, of course, took from the rich to give to the poor. And as a hopeless hippie socialist, then I'm very keen on Robin Hood, and I also like hugging trees. So this to me, this is the major oak, it's called, and it's this very, very old tree in Sherwood Forest near Nottingham, where Robin Hood and his band of men and women used to get together and discuss socialism. So that for me is wonderful. And so I did pharmacy, so I have a PhD in pharmacy, but then of course I am really a theoretical physicist. So I ended up at the University of Leeds in the School of Physics and Astronomy, and Leeds was fabulous because it has the most amazing brutalist architecture. So this is one of my favourite buildings of all time. This is Roger Stevens, where I taught physics at Leeds before I then moved to Sheffield very recently. So a few of you are asking, like, what on earth does pharmacy have to do with physics? Well, of course, physics includes the discipline of thermodynamics, and thermodynamics is the descriptive, the science that you need to understand molecular recognition. So molecular recognition governs, of course, how drugs bind to proteins, how proteins and signal cascades or recognize each other. It's how it's one of the pieces, the sprinkles of magic that make biology work. And so one of the things that I still study to this day is the thermodynamics of molecular recognition, and trying to understand, can we use computer modeling to design molecular keys that fit into biological locks? So the reason that molecular recognition is such an amazingly complicated phenomenon is because the molecules involved are always changing shape, and they're always changing shape because they possess temperature, and temperature is molecular motion. So what you're seeing here is a computer simulation of a piece of DNA, and the DNA is always changing shape because it's got temperature. And around it, you can see positively and negatively charged counterions that are shielding the electrostatic charge of the DNA. And you should also be able to see the water. But I removed the water from the simulations, otherwise you wouldn't be able to see the DNA at all. So when we're thinking about how a drug would recognize its target, so it might be a protein or a piece of DNA, we have to think not just about one shape, we have to think about all of the different shapes that the DNA and the drug molecule could adopt. And that is a huge and complicated problem that requires the world's biggest supercomputers to solve it. And one of the things that I have really loved about this combination of physics and pharmacy is that you can use computer simulation to be able to visualize what these molecules look like and the way that they move. And for me, that really does bring them to life. So I hope you enjoy looking at the movies as well. And thank you very, very much for your attention. I'm going to finish there. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you so much, Sarah, for a wonderfully inspiring Living Histories talk. On behalf of the audience, I'm clapping. Audience, I invite you to send me questions via chat. I'll get started with a question building off of something that you said early on in your talk, which was go to a place that's nice, go to a place that's kind, and then you can also do wonderful work. Would you please tell us how this has worked out in your own example in terms of being in a place where you feel supported, leading to doing great science?
Well, I think that it's very, very difficult to be creative if you're not happy. And also you want to be in an environment as well where you feel that the people around you are happy. And, if you don't have that, then what's life about?
Wow, thank you. Let me ask you another question building off of something you said in your talk, which was you described yourself as not posh. Um, as you reflect on your career now, from where you are now, do you feel that this has influenced at all the trajectory that you have taken and the things that you've been able to do?
Well, definitely, really, for good and bad. So, I mean, your background does influence the way that you behave. And certainly for me, I don't know, I don't always do myself if I was a bit more formal in situations, I think there are some situations where that would have made me more successful, whatever that means. So definitely in that respect, but I think it also has helped me maybe to make closer friends. I don't know.
Wow. Building off of that last point about authenticity, I want to tie into something that Alice said a few different times in her talk, which is what a strong influence you have had on her trajectory as a mentor. Would you please share some words about your philosophy of mentoring?
Well, I mean, I would go the other way round, really. I would say how lucky it was that I met Alice, and then Alice wanted to work with us. I mean, it was absolutely fantastic. So I would see it really a little bit sort of the other way round, is that actually, I mean, I don't really. I think, yeah, I think it's very difficult to see very often, who I think I got, it was wonderful meeting Alice and I think she's been great for me as
Wow.
a friend. Yeah, definitely.
Wow. Thank you so much again for an all-round wonderful talk. In the interest of time, I'm closing the recording.